Hi everyone. This is a very low-tech offering. Haven't done this before, and give it a shot. I know this is a difficult time for all, so I thought I would try to offer a short video with some simple yogic breathing, followed by a basic restorative pose, while I do a little bit of reading. Probably 10 minutes or less. Depending on how this goes and what my time looks like and what the world looks like, I might try to offer more of these videos in the next days or weeks to come. So to start, find a comfortable seat. I'm sitting on a little bit of a cushion. You can use a pillow, a blanket, whatever you'd like. Something where you can sit upright. Rest your hands comfortably. Legs can be crossed like mine or not. Eyes can remain open or closed. Take a moment to start to tune into your breath. Feel the connection between your breath and your body. Notice your body, the feeling of your legs resting on your support of the ground, your hands resting on your legs, and the sense of breath as it travels in through your nose, expanding through your torso, and then the sense as it travels out through your nose. You may wish to put a hand on the belly or the ribs, helping with that mind-body connection and where you can most clearly sense the breath. And if you can, expanding the breath in and out in all directions, side to side, front to back. Once you have an awareness of the breath, we'll move toward trying to cultivate an even breath in, even breath out. This is not something we'll push or force. I'm going to count out loud, but you might want to count in your head, going to the length of your inhale, the natural length of your inhale, and then seeing if you can allow the exhale to be approximately the same length. So it might look something like this. In, 2, 3, out, 2, 3. Breathing in and out through the nose if that's comfortable. And today we'll try to work toward a 4 count if that works for you. If not, that's fine. So that would be in, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4. A few rounds of that. And as you continue your even breath in, even breath out, see if you can notice a natural pause between the in-breath and the out-breath. So it looks something like in, 2, 3, 4, natural pause, out, 2, 3, 4, natural pause. We're going to create a little bit more space with that pause with something called square or box breathing. Continue to breathe evenly in and out for now. So square or box breathing is when all 4 elements are the same length. So you'll breathe into a count of 4, hold gently for a count of 4, breathe out for a count of 4, hold gently out for a count of 4. This type of breath is excellent for focus, for managing stress and anxiety. You might find other benefits as well. If you have any medical conditions, you might want to consider skipping the pauses or making them shorter, not 4 and 4 even. So we'll give this a try, starting with your 4 count breath in. It can be 2 or 3 if that works better for you. I'm going to count to 4. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4. Gently hold in, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4. Gently hold out, 2, 3, 4. And continue in, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. And then continue at your own pace. If you get distracted, lose count, your mind wanders, all of that is natural and normal. You can begin again at any point. Return to that simple in, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4. Hold out, 2, 3, 4. And if the holds become too difficult, return to your basic in-breath, basic out-breath, allowing the in-breath and the out-breath to be approximately equal. And you can practice 1 or 2 more rounds on your own. I'll lead you through 1 more guided round. If you finish before my count, again, return to a natural, comfortable breath. So 1 last round together of square or box breathing. In, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4. Nope, that one I did without the holds. You can return to your natural in-breath, out-breath. I said that this wasn't going to be an edited or a very polished video. So return to a natural breath. I'm going to set you up for a supported child's pose. That's going to be the restorative pose that we're going to practice today. While you're in the pose, I'm going to read about child's pose balasana from this book, Myths of the Asanas. Asanas are yoga poses. So I'll show you the pose. I encourage you to get comfortable in this pose. You only need to use household blankets. If you have a bolster, that's great. If not, that's fine. I would say have several stacks of blankets or pillows to make yourself comfortable in the pose so that you can rest. I'll probably only lead you through a few minutes. I don't know, I haven't timed this out, but you want to rest comfortably, maybe up to 5 minutes or longer. If you'd like, you can stay in the pose beyond my talking and beyond this video. Okay, so I'm going to turn to my little prop setup here, and I might be off camera at times. My toes are together and I'm spreading my knees wide apart. So that's going to allow me to set up my props in between my knees. I'm actually going to flip these around because I have a little bit of more height on the far side, just how my blankets happen to be stacked. If you can stack your blankets with a little bit more height away from you or an extra pillow away, that might work really well for you. In child's pose, we're hinging right here at the hip crease, so right where the top of my legs meet my pelvis. I'm going to take a breath in, and then as I exhale, I'm going to start to lean forward over my prop setup, and here's when I might be a little off camera. My hips will remain back toward my heels. If they come up, that's totally fine. I'm going to come down until I can rest comfortably on my props. You can turn your head to either side. You may need to have a little bit more height than I do here, so you can put extra blankets, extra pillows underneath your body. Your arms can rest wherever they rest. So take time. You can be stacked up as high as here if that feels more comfortable. If you have something with a little height under it, you can even put your arms around that and gently hug. You can rest your blankets a little higher on a chair and come forward that way. So it's all the same pose. So take a few moments and find your comfortable pose. I'm going to return to a seated position. And allow yourself to return to an even breath in, even breath out as you're resting in this pose. So I'm going to put on my silly little readers, and then I'll read a few pages from this book. After I get about halfway through the reading, I'll cue you to turn your head to the other side if you have it facing one side. So this is the section on Balasana, child's pose. Balasana is the pose of the child, Bala, in which the body is draped over folded legs, representing a child in the womb. It is a resting pose that is often performed after a challenging asana or when we need some time to let our mind and body absorb the practice. When we are in an innocent and receptive state of mind, it is easiest to be transformed by our yoga practice. So the origins of this is called the childhood play of Krishna. Although Krishna is known mostly for his role in the Bhagavad Gita, stories about his childhood involve enjoyable insights. After his miraculous birth, at which all the signs of his divinity were present, Krishna grew up in idyllic surroundings in the forest of Vrindavan. Once, when Krishna and his brother Balaram were playing in the courtyard, Krishna took a scoop of earth in his hand and ate it. When Balaram saw this, he ran to their mother, Yashoda, and told her, "Mother, Krishna is eating dirt. He may choke on it." Unsurprised at yet another of her son's naughty tricks, Yashoda grabbed hold of Krishna and questioned him. "Have you eaten mud?" she demanded. Although Krishna's face was covered with mud, he replied, "Oh no, mother. Balaram is lying. I haven't touched any mud." Of course, Yashoda didn't believe him, and she made Krishna open his mouth. When Yashoda looked inside, she didn't see any mud. Instead, she saw a whole universe and all the galaxies. Although Krishna's parents and friends were vaguely aware of his divinity, his childhood charm as a toddler made them forget. This play of forgetfulness of divinity is called Lila. It might be Lila, excuse my pronunciation. It facilitates the highest type of connections a soul can have in relation to the divine. This forgetfulness allows Krishna's friends to play and joke with him in a way that would not be possible if they were aware of and potentially intimidated by his divinity. In a similar way, a president of a country also needs to forget his official function when he is playing horse with his grandson riding on his back. This is one of the paradoxes of yoga philosophy. First, we need to remember our divine nature, and when we are established in it, we need to forget it again in order to stay engaged in the world. This is, however, a playful type of forgetfulness in which we do not lose connection with our soul. When Yashoda looked into Krishna's mouth, she saw the whole of creation contained within it. Everything is in God, and God is everything. There is no duality here, just play for the sake of play. So you can turn your head to the second side. And I'll read the last part, and I want to refer to when we say God in yoga, that can be whatever God is for you. Even if you're an atheist, I'm an agnostic myself. So your God, my God, your view, my view might be different. You can take that as you will. The last part of this is transcending the ego through surrender. Often children are the best teachers. It is said that yoga is actually very easy and very difficult at the same time. It is simple because the only thing we need to do is to stop clinging to our ego. But that is also one of the hardest things we can do, given the subtle workings of the ego, which we continually reinforce. According to both the Yoga Sutra and the Bhagavad Gita, the ultimate goal of yoga lies in our surrender to a higher power. Yoga is usually regarded as a practice that liberates us from the ego, but at the same time, it binds us to the divine through love. And this is what the child's pose symbolizes, in the childlike surrender to the divine that opens up the pathways of grace. And all past, present, and future sages of yoga will testify that grace is what we need, as we are all dependent on something that is greater than ourselves. We often do not realize this enough and take many things for granted: the ground we stand on, the air we breathe. But it may all be taken away from us in any moment in time. And then surrender is all that is left to us. In surrender, we truly open ourselves up to receive and also to give. Balasana invites us to cultivate this childlike quality. So if you're still in Balasana, take a few more moments in this pose. Maybe reflecting on those words, how in the midst of this crisis, these very challenging times that no one could have expected or anticipated, we may need to surrender to what is and allow ourselves to be with grace, with connectedness to each other. And then you can either remain in child's pose or exhale and use your hands to help yourself sit back up, coming to a seated position. And if you'd like, again, resting your hands on your body, or perhaps hands at heart center. This is Anjali Mudra. Return your attention to your breath. Take an even breath in, even breath out. I thank you for listening to me, for being with me on this day. Om Shanti, Shanti Shanti Om. Peace, peace, peace. Take care. Be healthy.